Nsfw. What is illegal that feels legal? Ignore the FBI piracy warning. You wouldn't download a car. I'd download a Tesla Cybertruck. Where I live it is illegal to reverse backwards out of your driveway, but because of about 90% of our population does it, no one cares. Where I'm at, it's illegal to have your car running while unoccupied. So remote starts are basically illegal unless you're a weirdo and use one to start the car from inside. I remember last winter seeing on the news where some local police department decided to start ticketing cars that were warming up in people's driveways in sub-zero weather while the owners waited inside. The police chief claimed that he was doing it to protect people from having their cars stolen out of their driveway. Right, I can brew beer, I can make wine, but the moment I evaporate the alcohol in the wine, I am committing a crime. God bless moonshine, it's so filling in potholes in the street. WTF. So we had to wait like 10 years for the construction to come around and fix it. Just spray paint a giant asterisk 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 around the pothole then. In Norway it's illegal to raise the alcohol content of anything. So it feels perfectly legal to add some whiskey to my coffee to make an Irish coffee. But adding whiskey to coffee raises the alcohol level of the coffee. So it's illegal to do. However, if I put the whiskey into the empty cup and then add coffee, I'm diluting the alcohol of the whiskey, which is perfectly legal. Irish coffee may or may not be illegal depending on the order in which you mix the ingredients. Neither coffee, whiskey, or a mixture of the two are in any way illegal. Mixing them in the incorrect order might very well be. This goes for any mixed drinks. Even if your goal is to dilute wine. If you pour the wine into water, you're breaking the law by raising the alcohol level of the water. You have to pour water into wine if you want to dilute your wine legally. Your Honor, the accused was drinking liquor with his coffee. Some here may claim that he was simply drinking coffee with his liquor. These people are liars. Pretty much. The upside is that we get to enjoy the show when servers try to explain this to tourists who order something like a spritzer, radler, on a hot summer day. No. Excuse me. You're supposed to pour the wine into the sparkling water. It mixes better due to the relative densities of alcohol and water. I'm so sorry, but that's illegal. Feeding someone else's parking meter. Wait, I didn't know that was illegal. The reason behind this is that meters aren't there to collect money, rather force people to come back or move. By feeding someone else's meter, you're allowing the car to stay there, robbing someone of that spot. Downloading abandoned proprietary software, even if the company that made it no longer exists, it's still technically copyrighted. And GT, even if the company that made it no longer exists, it's still technically copyrighted. Given that a shitload of company assets get sold when they go under, most likely someone still owns that copyright. Some of it doesn't. Ban handling a salmon suspiciously on the streets of London. Not just London, anywhere in the UK, and I'd specify night. And for anyone who is interested, I believe it is because there was a group going round and stealing salmon from farms as they were very valuable during the night, so they made this law, and it's an old one that never got removed. Why are they only valuable at night? Downloading D and AMP D rules PDFs. I'm a monster, I know. We are all in the monster manual somewhere, are we not? Drugs in the Netherlands. Yes, weed remains illegal because the Netherlands is a signatory to various international treaties banning drugs. It's just that there's this legislative framework within which police have agreed not to enforce the law. Coffee shops, for instance, have to pretend that they don't know where they get the weed they're selling. You're in Amsterdam, monsieur. If you want coffee, you go to a cafe. If you want marijuana, ganja, or some freaky deaky, you go to a coffee shop. Watching TV in the UK without your license. Sir, do you have any idea how fast you were channel surfing back there? License and registration, please. My license is in the post officer, honest. I was a lifeguard once and technically it was illegal to use an EpiPen to help someone experiencing an allergic reaction. Our boss told us that in the event of an emergency, we should administer the EpiPen and that they would have to fire us but would then do anything they could do to rehire us. Is this not covered by the Good Samaritan laws in the US? Like if you're doing chest compressions on an unconscious victim or break their ribs, you can't get into troubles for the injuries. I have also heard variations on my college campus that if you call 911 for someone who may have alcohol poisoning and you yourself are drunk, you don't have fear of being charged because you called the cops to save someone's life. This could just be something they tell us to keep people from dying. The Good Samaritan Act does not cover lifeguards as we are paid as first aiders and lifesavers. They actually discuss this in the National Lifeguard Award course. Minor traffic infractions on quiet roads. Not quite stopping at a residential stop sign at 3 in the morning with no one else awake for miles. At 3 a.m., there may be no one awake but doesn't mean they aren't driving. Kindersurprise. Yes, Kindersurprise eggs are illegal in the US. They also have a ridiculous $2,500 fine per egg you try to smuggle in. Anything that requires people to be 21 rather than 18. Like drinking while in the military. Hey, go to that sandy place and try not to get shot or blown up. Here's a handful of opiate painkillers, but don't touch the cause light. Edit. I have been corrected. They don't use opiates as painkillers, just Motrin. The military will allow people to drink if they are in a country where their age matches the local laws. Similarity in the Navy: if you're on deployment and don't see a port for 90 days, they will have a beer day and everyone gets 2 beers and a picnic regardless of age. The Trade Federation landing their invasion army on Naboo. I will make it legal. Do it. Playing ROM hacks for extremely old games that don't make the company money anymore. Like Super Mario World. Edit. Holy asterisk 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 asterisk, this blew up for what I've been told isn't even correct with SMW lol. My bad, didn't know it was on Switch Online. ROMs are an extreme gray area. You're legally allowed to own ROMs and play them, under the condition that you own the actual game. But who's gonna check? I always thought the law is more along the lines of you can make a digital copy for yourself. I don't think downloading counts towards this, you own the game or not. Paying someone to help out with a project under the table. I don't mean like an ongoing employee. I mean like a buddy helps you do a painting job for an apartment or refinish a basement. So you throw them a few $100 for a couple days of working with you. Is that actually illegal? It was my understanding that as long as it isn't a long-term thing, it's perfectly fine. My girlfriend's father paid me $300 to take my Friday off from work and help him move heavy furniture out of his house. Was that against the law? I think $500 is the limit. After that it has to be reported and taxes paid on it. IRC. Jaywalk. I think it's important people understand what jaywalking is though. At least in my state, it is legal to cross the street at any time, as long as there is no traffic. It is only jaywalking if you cross outside a proper crossing, when a proper crossing was available, and you disrupt traffic in doing so. This, though the specifics vary from place to place in the US, this is the gist of it. Crossing the street while there is a pedestrian crossing lane within 20 meters, in the Netherlands. Downloading a car. You would at gambling under 21. My friends and I play poker all around campus and no faculty have ever bat an eye at it. I think the law is just there to keep kids out of casinos and to keep companies from profiting off of kids gambling. Me and my friends were very open about playing poker for money when we were growing up and no one really cared. My buddies and I would play poker all the time, but we'd always hide the money somewhere goofy, just in case. Yo, I'm in Australia and if you're driving the bush and sign says 80 kilometers per hour, you defo going 100 feels legal. Mate. I had to read this in a thick Australian accent to actually understand what you said. Where y'are from I'll explain in your accent, letting my asterisk feel the breeze. Stop right there, criminal SCU monsieur. You violated the law. Waiting on someone by their porch. If person is there, you'll get in. If they aren't, or don't want you in, you are to leave. Many places consider camping, even if just for minutes, on porches as part of trespassing. Recording NFL or MLB ball games with expressed written consent of the NFL or MLB. Only rebroadcasting, retransmitting, or written accounts. Recording for personal use is not prohibited. Pretty much the same is true for any copyrighted broadcast. Edit. Changed copyright to copyright. In London it is illegal for the Queen to cross from Westminster into the City of London without written permission from the mayor. Strange, I thought the Queen could move in any direction. Defacing money. I had a dollar bill once that had a Trump campaign thing stamped on it. I don't remember what it said, but the Three Musketeers I bought with it was delicious. I make my $1 bills say boner. Collection of rainwater in barrels on your property. There's an urban legend about a guy who was jailed for collecting rainwater which makes the rounds from time to time. But if you actually look it up, it turns out that by collecting rainwater, they really mean damming streams to make private lakes. And even then, he wasn't actually jailed until after refusing to take the dams down after 10 years of being told to do so. Driving 20 kilometers per hour over the speed limit on an empty road. What's weird is in my country area, it's almost like it isn't illegal. 20 over might be the limit where it crosses over. But I can tell you everyone is 10 to 15 over including the police. And highways it's certainly 20 to 25 over. I think it's one of those, you get a ticket if the cop is having a bad day or you're in a school zone. I'm talking about Canada, but I get this sense that they will just increase all the limits soon. They already have put a few highways up from 100 to 110 in my area. They legalized weed recently. It's just an observation, but it's like for crimes that the majority feel are victimless, we're slowly shifting the law to accommodate for right or wrong. What I like about Canada highways is the sign that explains the fines. For instance, the speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour. Sign says 110 kilometers per hour, $200 fine. 120 kilometers per hour, $220 fine. 140 kilometers per hour, $225 fine. I feel like betting best value, besides the 140 kilometers per hour part. Bringing larger quantities of alcohol than the small amount allowed that's cheaper in other provinces across provincial borders into our own. Apparently, my province as of last year no longer has those restrictions though and have joined 2 others in allowing unlimited quantities of booze. Driving around Oregon with a pistol with a loaded mag in it, locked in a box, in your trunk, but then you accidentally cross into Portland city limits. I had a friend tell me once that, in Oregon, if you have a fishing license and fishing pole in your car it is legal to also carry a gun. But that may not be true in Portland. Strange that as I write this I can hear gunfire from the Portland Gun Club. I mean, how else do you go fishing, right? Buying margarine in parts of the US. Pirates, agreed, there are no laws on the high seas. It should be that way. I'm always so surprised when the local fishermen complain about my robbing of their boats. This is just how I do. Watching pirated movie. It's perfectly legal to stream pirated movies or TV shows. Downloading them is illegal. Actually, it's the uploading that is illegal. The issue is people don't have the right to distribute. People get nailed for torrents on the upload. Streaming is entirely download. Even though we all know that stream is dodgy, the law is written that way because it is unreasonable to expect the average person to check that. Every media source has the correct rights. You don't ask your cinema for proof they can show you the film you bought a ticket for. You just assume they have the rights. Same for downloading pirate copies. It isn't on you to prove that Pirate Bay or whatever does or doesn't have the rights. However, the instant you upload, you well better have the rights. That's a delicious bit of plausible deniability that honestly seems too generous. Whistleblowing if you've worked for an intelligence agency. Why you've done what you did and why you thought it was the right choice. Being an unmarried woman in Florida and skydiving on a Sunday. Just marry on the plane, divorce on the ground. Collecting rainwater, lemonade stands. Just building a house on your own property without permits, zoning, etc. Not just houses, but any large structure. It's ridiculous in some places what they won't let you build. Me and my grandfather tried to build a rocket launch pad one time. And now we're on some government watch list. It can't buy rocket fuel, or possess enriched uranium. Absolutely ridiculous. If you think that's come to Poland, where you can't cut a tree that you planted yourself on your own property if you don't have an official permission to do so. Cannabis. Literally, cops in my city don't care at all. If you get caught with it, they literally just empty it out onto the ground, no punishment. But technically you can go to jail for a while for possession of it. Before they passed the legalization bill here in Maine, some cops would let you go with your stuff if you were honest about it.